welcome to Learning Music with Pat. On the last segment, I showed you the smallest instrument that I own, and it happens to be a Hohner harmonica playing a chord in the key of C, perfect pitch. And the segment before that, I showed you this little guy, which is also the next smallest that I have. I'm just reviewing a little bit about the ocarinas. They are a wonderful instrument, and this one is the instrument that comes next to being the smallest. It's about an inch square, and it works a little like a recorder, and so I've been talking to you about that and showing that. I want to show you some others. There are two other recorders, and then I want to ocarinas, and then I want to show you the Peruvian ocarinas and the Peruvian flutes. Here's a wooden one. It's small. Most of my ocarinas are small, but they come in different sizes. They come in different keys. They're made in wood or clay or plastic, and those three things. They have a really wonderful tone. This one here, I don't know how familiar you are with it. I may not have had it in before, but this would be like the Fipple mouthpiece on this end, which is going to be very difficult for you to see. Nonetheless, it's there. Just trust me on it. And then in the back, there are two tone holes. And then in the front, you have what would be the labium right here, right on top of where my finger is. Whoops, that's one of the holes, right above my finger, which is right here. That's the labium. You have four tone holes. You have two on each side. This one, and these two, and these two right here. This is very, very small. And I have, so when you look at this, when you pick it up, I have two thumbs in the back covering the two tone holes that are in the back, four fingers in the front covering the tone holes which are side by side, which does make the fingering a little different. And then I have that mouthpiece, and I'm just going to blow into it. I'm not going to play a song with it, but it has, like the others, a good tone. A very healthy tone for an instrument that's so small. And they make beautiful tones. I've heard some Indians come in and they play their ocarinas in concerts and so forth, and the music is just incredible. It's just beautiful. The tone of the instrument is beautiful, and they come in with large ones that cost hundreds of dollars. Well, I don't pay very much for the smaller ones, even though they're of good quality for their size, but the larger ones can be very, very expensive. Now, I also want to show you, once again, the sweet potato ocarina, which has nothing to do with sweet potatoes. They started calling them that in Italy, and then they got the name ocarina. Before, they were called global flutes, and they had them made to be shaped like fictional animals, not real animals, but as long as they had that chamber to blow the air into and that mouthpiece to blow the air and some little tone holes here and there, they could make music with them. And the sweet potato ocarina was made by the government in World War II and given to the soldiers as a morale booster. They probably used something that's probably a little higher quality than this. Now, they do have different keys. I did play this last week. I don't think I'll play it again this week. It's a weaker one, but it does play. It actually does play. Now, what I want to show you, and I haven't shown you, I may not have shown you this before, this is an ocarina made in Peru, and just take a look at this. Look at the cross. It's all hand painted, and there's a beautiful cross on the front of it. This is clay. It's made out of clay. It is very breakable. It's made to be worn, though. So, and when I've done music seminars, I'm going to hold it from this. Maybe it'll be easier to see the whole thing. There it is. It is beautiful. Hand painted. Bright colors, and that's what the Peruvians are known for. If you look at the back, it does have a little sign on it, insignia, which says handmade in Peru. And it's glazed over. The painting of it for the cross and decorative items are all in the front. And I used to wear it occasionally doing music seminars, but I got it off from me as quickly as I could because it is so breakable. But it does play. It doesn't have the best tone, but let me just throw some air in it. We'll see 3 holes on each side. So you have 6 holes. This is more like a regular recorder in terms of the number of tone holes that it has. But it still plays a little differently because you are fingering this with side-by-side notes instead of straight up and down notes. It'll do a scale, and that's the quality of tone that you got. You got to remember, the material that you make an instrument out of has a very great degree of whatever the tone is like. It has a great degree of influence over whatever the tone is like. You know, the Stradivarius violins, the Strads, everybody thought they're so beautiful, and they are, of course, and their tone is not like other violins, but they're made the same as other violins, but somehow the quality of the tone is different. And you hear people who have Stradivarius violins saying, this is a different instrument, it sounds different, it's absolutely beautiful. And I've done a search as to why the wood of those instruments is different than the wood of any other instrument because it's made like any other instrument that's a violin. And it turns out that where they got the wood for the Strads was in an area of the world that had a few seasons of extremely cold weather, unbelievably cold weather, a lot colder than usual, and that changed the quality of the wood enough to change the quality of the tone when they made violins from it. And that seems to be the answer to the question of why are the Strads so different when they're made the same. They are beautiful instruments. I've heard them played. They are beautiful instruments. I know this is kind of an offside story, but I saw a program where there was a guy who owned a Strad, and he used to go out in his concerts, and he would play it, and everyone thought he was playing the Strad. He'd go in, it had a beautiful tone, he's playing it, and then it was deliberately rigged to fall apart. He would pretend to kind of not be able to hold on to it or loosen his grip on it, and the whole thing would fall, and it would just fall apart. And everybody's beside themselves. Oh no, what's happened to the Stradivarius? He dropped it, he ruined it. And then he'd calmly pick up another violin and show it to them and say, now let me play my Stradivarius for you. It was a trick violin he started out with, and then the second violin he used was the real Stradivarius. But the tones of both those violins was beautiful. That trick violin, all he had to do was put it back together and use it again. At any rate, I want to show you some Peruvian flutes. They are beautiful. I'll show them to you one at a time. Purple. And you notice they're brightly colored. There is a tone hole in the back of this one. It's hard to see. It's not in the usual spot. It's halfway down. Most tone holes are up higher. But see the design and see the color. Some of them play fairly well. Some of them not so much. And it just depends upon how much time they've put in playing it. I would never do a solo on this one, but that is one of them. Another one that I want you to see is the red one. Very bright, very beautiful, and no tone hole on the back of this one. But some of them do and some of them don't. Very intricate designs, and a little sign on it that says made in Peru. So you know that's also, they just use very bright colors. This one does not play too well. If you look at it, I don't know if you can catch this, there's a crack in it. And when instruments crack, usually you can't play them. This crack actually goes from the top of the labium to the mouthpiece. It just comes from the fact that I've played it quite a bit and the wood couldn't sustain it. A lot of these beautiful instruments, they're not terribly well made, and they don't have a lot of long life to them, but they are beautiful to see. Let me show you another one. Green. Green is one of my favorite colors and I love it. So this is your green instrument, made in Peru. Here again, there's a tone hole in the back of it, right above where I have my finger. And a very odd place to put it. But they all sound about alike. They're all very beautiful to look at. This one doesn't have a crack. You can play them some, but I wouldn't do a solo on them because the quality of the tone isn't quite there. We'll look at this one. I have about 5 of them with me. I can't resist them when I get a chance to buy them because they are beautiful. This is black. A lot of people, black is their favorite color. I didn't realize this, but I read some articles on people who love black. People who love black are very satisfied people, satisfied with their lives. You know, they're happy and they just love the color black. So most people who love black wear a lot of black. I know some people that black is the only color that they wear for their main clothes, black or gray, once in a while white, but black is usually it. But these people are usually very content and very happy, and they love that color. It seems to go along with their personalities. So here again, this one here does not have a tone hole in the back of it, but some of them do and some of them don't. So anyway, that's that one. And then I have another green one for you to see. This one is made to be worn. It has this cord on it. It's an unusual shade of green. I'm going to see if I can hold this up. There is a tone hole in the back of it. This is the labium, and it's an unusual instrument. It's bigger than the rest, a little fatter than the rest, but it is green. Okay? So you have all of those instruments that are all Peruvian instruments, hand-painted. They're all hand-painted. So it's interesting to see them. I bring them in when I can. Now I'm going to go back to this chart, which I kind of ran out of time last time. I want to describe knowing the keys of it, just so you can understand this a little better. I'm not going to repeat everything that I did last week, but let's take a look at this. If you have all of these keys in black are going to be sharps and flats. All of these keys in white are going to be keys that are not sharps or flats. They're all natural keys. When you get a set of two black notes together, like this two, it's repeated. These two, as I say, these are all octaves. When you get them together, the white key to the left of those two sets of black ones is always going to be a C. So we have two black ones down here. The key to the left, the white key to the left is a natural C. The same thing for here. All you have to do is look for those two black keys, and the one to the left is a C. The one that's close to the middle, it's not exactly in the middle in the full stage, in the full keyboard, but as close as it can be to the middle, that's going to be your low C or your middle C. And that's the way it appears on the staff. If you're looking at it in the staff, it has one ledger line through it. Okay, so that's the C. So then you can just count. You can just go through the alphabet, C, D, E, F, G. Then when you get to this one, then you switch back to the A. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now let's start with A. How do you know when you're on A? Well, you have these 3 black notes. Like it's divided. There are 2 here, there are 3 here, 2 here, 3 here, and that goes all up and down. When you get these 3 together, then the one that is actually to the left of this one that's going to be the A. Or if you want to look at it in the other direction, if you're counting like 1, 2, 3, you get the 3 together. You can say 1, 2, 3. The one that's right to the left of that third black key is always going to be an A. So you look at these 3, 1, 2, 3. The one to the left of that third one is always going to be an A. Remember, these black keys are always going to be flats and sharps, and the white keys are always going to be natural keys. And so therefore, here we got 3, and if you're counting from left to right, I mention that because we read from left to right, 1, 2, 3, and right next to it is that A. So you can't, just follow the alphabet, A, B, C. That C lands on that white note, which is right next to the 2 together, okay? So A, B, C. A, B, C. Now, if you went to them from the other direction, which I usually do, I take 3, and this is the to me, the first one. But if you're reading left to right, it wouldn't be. But at any rate, it's right next to the one that's closest to the right of these sets of 3. And there's your A. So how do you know what key you're in? Well, that's not as hard as you might think. If you start at C, you count up. Remember, this is going to be sharps, and this is going to be flats. Now, you count up from C, D, E, F, G. That's the 5th note up, and you can add a sharp there, so you're in the key of G. G has 1 sharp. Then you start on G, start on the last note that you counted, and count at that point. G, A, B, C, D. You add another sharp, and you're in the key of D. D has 2 sharps. And then if you go from D, start where you left off, not the next one, but right on the one that you left off on. D, E, C, D, A. You get your 3rd sharp, so you have the key of A and 3 sharps. Then A, B, C, D, E, add another sharp, so you have 4 sharps. And then A, B, C, D, I'm losing my touch here. A, B, C, D, E. You have another sharp. So you just go 5. You start at C, and you go up 5 steps, add 1 sharp. Stop there, add 5 more notes the next. So you can figure out your key all the way. Now with the bass, it's a little different. You're going down, C, B, A, G, F. That'll be 1 flat. That's the key of F. F, E, D, C, B, actually the B flat. You add another flat, and you have the key of B flat. And you can go down to E and get E flat, and you can go down to A and get A flat. So there are easy ways of figuring things out if you just know how to do it. So when we learn music and play music, and I'm going to play a piece now. This does not have a background. Tape to it. I'm just arranging some music here and there. I'll be playing this by myself. This is a well-known Viennese waltz, but it came to me this morning, and I said, I can teach from it. So I'll take this down, and I'll put this up. Okay. This is a Viennese waltz. You probably will remember it. You'll probably recognize it. And I'm going to play it, and then I'll do a little analyzing of it. So this is what I'll play, and I'm doing it in the key of G, and this is what it sounds like. And if you have been used to listening to waltzes and marches and so forth, you'll recognize this. you recognize that as a waltz, because it is a waltz. So let me kind of do this for you, kind of dissect it. It's 3/4 time. It's in the treble clef because I'm playing a treble clef instrument. Most of the woodwinds are. There are a couple of exceptions, but most of the woodwinds are treble clef. It's in 1 sharp, so this is in the key of G. And I'm doing the 3 beats. This is like 3/4 times, so 3 beats to the measure, and it's a lilting waltz style, which I happen to like very much. And so this is 3 beats. It's a whole note, and a whole note is going to have the same amount of beats as what the time signature says. So there are 3 beats to this whole note. 3 beats to this whole note, 3 beats to this whole note, and then you get over here, you have your quarter notes, 1 beat a piece, because it's 3/4, 3 beats to a measure equivalent to quarter notes. These are your quarter notes. And then here you go back to your 3 beats again, your 3 beats again. Now I have over here made, instead of the whole notes, a dotted half. And that's the way it's usually written, because a dotted half is going to be 3 beats, because the half beat is usually 2 beats. The half note is 2 beats, and when you add a dot to it, you're adding half the value. Half the value of 2 beats is 1 beat, and so we get to have it 3 beats again. Now we are about out of time. I don't have much time left, but if you want to follow this through, if you want to listen to music and follow this through, figure out what the timing is. Figure out by the pattern. Let me just play just a little bit of, again, I'll do it faster. It here. We've run out of time. If I get a chance, I may do this again next time and show you the timing and show you how you can change the timing and show you the interval between the notes. So we'll close it.